Hey guys, Steve Stonehouse here again. What I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today is recovery. I don't know if you guys have been doing any of the Stride Go workouts with Coach Antonio and Coach Michelle over the last few days, but they've been amazing. I know I'm feeling it a little bit in my hamstrings, so if you guys have been doing those, maybe you are as well. But again, I want to talk about recovery today, and the first thing I want to discuss is a lot of times when we hear conversations or we think about recovery, we might think that that's just a day off. While time off does certainly qualify as recovery, I think there's a lot more that can go inside that conversation. Recovery runs, recovery mobility type series, nutrition, hydration. There's just a lot other than just rest that goes into recovery. So today, I'm going to go through a little series. I'm going to show you guys some different mobility things we can do to kind of loosen, some shoulders, get your core kind of fired up a little bit, get your hips kind of loose a little bit. I know with runners, a lot of times our hip flexors have a tendency to get tight. A lot of times when we get tired, our shoulders have a tendency to get tight. So we're going to focus on some of those areas. And then I'm also going to put in a small recovery run today too. I think a lot of times after any high intensity workout, maybe it's a track day, maybe it's a long run, I always think it's important to follow those days with recovery runs just to get your legs moving a little bit. One tip I would have on recovery runs, typically I would suggest that you do those for time, not distance. And I am not concerned with speed at all. It's just about getting out and moving your legs, getting the sweat, and just starting to get some blood flowing a little bit. And then typically after a recovery run, maybe you'll have a day off from that. But going from high intensity, I always go recovery run and then a day off just to make sure that you got some movement in there too. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go through, demo, and explain this kind of warm-up series, right? There's a few sections to this. I'm gonna go through some core activation and some shoulder mobility, just some T-spine mobility and everything with this, with some of these sticks. I'm gonna go through a movement prep series or a dynamic warm-up, and then I'm gonna jump rope, and then we'll be ready to run a little bit afterwards. So I'm gonna start out. First thing I'm gonna do here is I just want to get some core activation. So with this stick, again, if you don't have one of these at home, that's fine. Use a broomstick, a mop stick, any type of long rod could be fine, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my hands about chest height. I'm gonna stick this stick in the ground as hard as I can, and I just wanna push into the ground as hard as I can. I wanna be cautious of my posture. I wanna hold, and I'm gonna push for about 20 or 30 seconds. I'm gonna do 2 or 3 sets of that, right? From there, I'm going to loosen up my shoulders a little bit. I'm gonna get 2 sticks, again, 2 broomsticks, mop handles, whatever. I'm gonna wanna get about shoulder width apart, and I'm gonna wanna get these sticks just set outside of my toes, right? I'm gonna hold on to the top of each stick, and I'm just gonna drop my hips back, and I just wanna really start kind of sitting back and just kind of stretching those lats and those shoulders. Once I kind of hold this for a minute or two, I'm gonna rotate one arm in front, one arm in back, 2 or 3 seconds, and then we're right back up to the front. Same thing on the other side. 2 or 3 seconds, and we're right back here. I'm gonna do each side a few times. Get those shoulders going. The last move I'm gonna do here is gonna get some low back and some hips in it as well. So I wanna be standing about hip width apart, and I'm gonna set this stick inside of my right foot. My right hand's gonna be up here tall, bottom hand's gonna be down here at the bottom, and I'm just gonna try to lunge away, get a little bit of rotation in there. I'm gonna take the other side, reach high, down low, lunge away. And I'm gonna do that a few times on each side just to kind of get loose a little. All right guys, next for dynamic warm-up, we're gonna start out with some inchworms, right? Nice and easy. I'm just gonna go down to the ground. I'm gonna walk myself out to where I get into that high plank position. I'm gonna do a push-up, and then I'm gonna walk my toes back up as far as my hamstrings will let me go. And then I'm right back down, push up, walking back up. Cool? And I'm gonna go all the way down. Next thing I'm gonna do here is just some high knees. I just want you walking, knee to the chest, up on that toe, pushing those hips through, high knee, pushing those hips through. Cool? The third move we're gonna do is gonna be a lunge to rotation. I'm just gonna, hands right out in front, lunge. Whatever knee is forward, that's what direction I'm rotating. Cool? Nice and easy. Last move are gonna be these Frankensteins. I want arms out front, opposite foot, opposite hand. Make sure you're not crunching, trying to touch your toes. I don't care whether you touch your toes or not. I just want you kicking up, getting some hamstring flexibility there. And then the final thing is I'm gonna go to jump rope for 4 or 5 minutes. Again, if you don't have a jump rope, jumping jacks is fine. Just do something you can even pretend to have a jump rope and kind of go through those movements too. Cool? So I'm gonna do it with you. Here we go. Okay guys, so we're warmed up, we're mobile, and now it's time to go on our 20-minute recovery run. My man Biggie's gonna go with me here, so I'll see you guys on the other side. Cool? Come on, Biggie. Let's get us here. All right, here we go.